And the gold Logie goes to Supreme Court Justice Christopher Beale. 2 years after the most notorious lunch in Australian history, convicted multiple murderer Erin Patterson has been sentenced. Hello Fridgies, welcome back to I Think My Fridge is Haunted, a very creepy podcast for very creepy people. I am your host Gemma, and if you're new here, I do a fortnightly podcast on this channel with my co-host Lana, and in between you can catch us for solo episodes talking about crime, justice, spooky culture, and fascinating history. So, let's get back into the mushroom murder case that gripped a nation and continues to hold us in a vice-like fist, watching as we melt and drip through the fingers of media hysteria like a maxi-bon on a hot day. On Thursday, 4th of September 2025, the following article was released onto the website of the Supreme Court of Victoria. It said, "For the first time, the court is allowing a television camera in court to broadcast live. Justice Christopher Beale's sentence of Erin Patterson will be live streamed and televised on Monday, 8th of September from 9:30 a.m. Following a jury trial which ran from April to July this year, Ms. Patterson was found guilty of murdering her parents-in-law, Don and Gail Patterson, and her aunt-in-law, Heather Wilkinson. She was also found guilty of the attempted murder of Ian Wilkinson. Justice Beale made the decision to allow the television camera to broadcast to increase understanding of the work of the court. Given the intense public interest in the case, the broadcast will provide an opportunity to inform the public of the reasons for sentence promptly and completely," he said. And today was the day when we finally learned EPAT's fate, exactly 9 weeks after her guilty verdict on Monday, 7th of July 2025. Interestingly, when I googled the sentencing details last night on Sunday, 7th of September 2025, according to AI, today had already happened, which is terrifying. It read, "Erin Patterson's sentencing for the murder of her estranged husband's family and her aunt-in-law was broadcast live on September 8th, 2024. The Victorian Supreme Court allowed a television camera to film and broadcast the proceedings. Justice Christopher Beale delivered the sentence, which was expected to take about 30 minutes. The sentencing was live streamed and televised, providing an opportunity for the public to learn about the reasons for the sentence promptly and completely." So what did we learn? Don't put all your faith in AI. Just don't. According to the Daily Mail, Aussie's lash decision to broadcast Erin Patterson's sentencing live. Apparently those Aussies are 4 comments on social media handpicked by the publication, and they are as follows. "What in the Americanization?" one Aussie wrote. This one is funny to me because last week I read a comment from someone who apparently was tired of court drawings from the case, as is the practice here in Australia. And this is how it's always been in our courts. And this person demanded to know, why don't they just show the photos? So when the Daily Mail claims Australians are slamming the announcement that a camera will be allowed in the courtroom, their statistics seem alarmingly even. But this, it's pretty shit. Crime as entertainment. It's not a good step. Everyone knows it's because we've come to treat death, murder, and life-changing traumatic events for individuals as our entertainment, a second person wrote. In answer to this comment, I say murder trials drawing attention is not new, and yet again I quote Samuel Pepys from his 1664 journal. "Up and after sending my wife to my Aunt White's to get a place to see Turner hanged, and there I got for a shilling to stand upon the wheel of a cart in great pain above an hour before the execution was done. It was believed there were at least 12 or 14,000 people in the street." So what's EPAT been doing with her time in prison when she hasn't been preparing for her inevitable appeal, because we know she's never going to confess? Well, she's been crocheting a lot of blankets apparently, and according to the Herald Sun this week, she's gifting crochet rats to her lawyer, which is adorable and disturbing considering the cost of yarn these days to regular taxpayers. Am I bitter? No. Sort of. Here's a cow head I crocheted during lockdown, during my cozy core era. It was supposed to be a stag, but the antlers were really, really hard to do. In any case, no one could accuse Erin Patterson of not being industrious with her prison time. It does, however, remind me of another inmate that was fond of a bit of craft, and that's the diabolical Rose West. Mrs. West was convicted in 1995 of the murders of 10 women and girls who were tortured in the basement of the home where she lived with her husband and children. In her excellent book, The Governor, former prison warden Vanessa Frake said of Rose West, quote, "At 8 a.m, when I went to unlock her and say, 'Morning, Rose,' there she'd be, knitting. Suffice to say, nobody knew what the hell she was making. It was just one long thing of knitting. She would stare into the distance as she did it, but you could tell that behind her glazed expression, a lot was going on, as if her brain was busy on what I dread to think." And I highly recommend this fascinating book. It's a fantastic memoir. Random question. Is there an EPAT mugshot? Have we seen an official mugshot? It just popped into my mind. So let's get to the sentencing.
For the attempted murder of Ian Wilkinson, I sentence you to 25 years imprisonment.
Wow.
For the murder of Heather Wilkinson, I sentence you to life imprisonment. For the murder of Gail Patterson, I sentence you to life imprisonment. For the murder of Don Patterson, I sentence you to life imprisonment. All sentences are to be served concurrently.
Oh, wow.
The total effective sentence is life imprisonment, and I fix a non-parole period of 33 years. I declare that you have served 676 days by way of pre-sentence detention. Finally, and by consent, I make the disposal order sought by the prosecution. Would you please remove Ms. Patterson?
Harsh. He was so harsh. I think you can all agree that Justice Beale did not hold back during this sentencing. Were we shocked with the results? No. But were we kind of a bit shocked? Yes. I think because it was so many people thought she was going to get off. That this is such the opposite end of the spectrum. She is going to prison literally forever. 3 life sentences and 1 25-year sentence with no option for parole for 33 years. She'll be 84 years old before she has an opportunity to apply for parole, which she's not even guaranteed that she'll get. At the end of the day, we're still left with this question. What was the damn motive? On a recent episode of the Rebel 25 podcast, which is another show produced here at RPP, host Rebecca Wood talked about the concept of the victim mentality, which got me thinking. It resonated with me because Erin Patterson ticks all the boxes of someone that harbours a serious victim mentality. Now, Fridgies, you know I'm no lawyer and no psychologist, and apparently no expert at crochet. So here are some points according to your friend and mine, WebMD. A victim mentality is characterised by someone who blames others for the way their life is, truly thinks life is against them, has trouble coping with problems in their life and feels powerless against them, feels stuck in life and approaches things with a negative attitude, feels attacked when someone tries to offer helpful feedback, gets relief or pleasure from feeling bad for themselves. Sound familiar? Everything that we've heard through the trial has pointed to some serious personality traits on EPAT's part. And you don't have to be a mental health professional to know that these include compulsive lying, petty grievances, and extended evidence of hypochondria, which Justice Beale didn't hold back on. So if we take these personality issues into account, can a possible motive be theorised? We know that she's probably not going to confess, ever. So all we are left with is speculation. Can I suggest that her sense of victimisation was such that when her extended family began to pull away from her around November 2022, she blamed Simon and thusly decided, if I can't have this family, neither can you. This brings me back to something I've mentioned here before, and that's whether or not EPAT has undergone a psychiatric evaluation. I don't think I'm alone when I say that that would be an interesting file to read. So now that we have a sentencing, what's next for EPAT? An appeal? A divorce? A confession? A book? An interview with Liz Hayes? When one or all of these things actually happens, you know you're going to hear all the most interesting bits right here on I Think My Fridge is Haunted. So please, like, subscribe, drop us a comment, and until next time, be creepy, but don't be a creep.